Welcome back to Capitol Review. A Senate committee has voted to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. This comes after Fauci refused to answer questions during a hearing on the COVID-19 pandemic. The Senate Homeland Security Committee voted Thursday that the former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases appeared before the panel for a hearing on the origins of COVID-19, and he didn't answer questions, pleading the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times. Republican Senator Rand Paul, the committee's chair, argued that there wasn't a valid excuse for Fauci to plead the Fifth, citing the preemptive pardon he received from President Biden. But Democrats defended Fauci and argued that he was being unfairly targeted.
Fauci faced no risk of federal prosecution. All he had to do was tell the truth.
The goal was to wait for Dr. Fauci to make any kind of misstatement and then have a weaponized Department of Justice file criminal charges.
The DOJ will decide whether a criminal charge will be filed. Professor, welcome back to Capitol Review.
Great to be back with you, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
We're always glad to have you. Your reaction to the Dr. Fauci situation, pleading the Fifth, and also now contempt of Congress charges.
Right. Well, this is a lot of political theater, and you really have to wonder. You have an 85-year-old public servant who was doing what it seems like the best he could at the time to try to comfort a very anxious nation, and they're trying to dig up any sort of aspects of hiding anything that might have gone on. This is sort of also an attempt to rewrite history. Perhaps some people believe that they didn't want to get the vaccines, they didn't want to wear masks, and now they think that their opinions are validated over time, and they want to take it out on Director Fauci. They also think that he may have been obfuscating some of the research that have been gone on in the labs, which is still inconclusive as to whether or not that's the case. But you have to think that there's some bad blood between Senator Paul that was obviously on display here with Director Fauci, and this is also sort of an attempt to rewrite history. I mean, it was a very dark time. People were very anxious and didn't know what was going on, and the president himself was telling people to drink bleach as an answer to what was going on. And now we have, Director Fauci taking the Fifth, which never looks good, but it also looks like this is a little bit of a political witch hunt as well.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche's confirmation process continues to move forward. What's been the reaction?
Well, this has been very interesting. Obviously, the deal between Senators Cornyn and Tillis, who of course are not facing re-election, was to get rid of this anti-weaponization fund, this $1.776 billion deal that people were worried could be used to give money to the insurrectionists who engaged in an act of terrorism on January 6th. These people served jail time because they were engaged in an act of terrorism, trying to coerce the government by using violence. And some of these senators were there, and they actually remember what it was like on that day. There are some concerns that this deal regarding the fund, getting rid of it, may not be enforceable because it's just a memo. So some senators are concerned about that. And the fact that there is no deal on IRS immunity for Donald Trump, his family, and their businesses, that remains an issue that has not been resolved. So you've got people like Senator Murkowski, who just recently signaled her intention to vote against Blanche for his full confirmation. And then you have Senator Collins, who's also indicated that she's concerned about a number of different issues, including his statements that he would go out against people who are using mailed abortion pills. And there's also other senators who are concerned about their perceptions of him covering up Donald Trump's mentions in the Epstein files that were released. And so right now, it looks like one more senator could derail it. And so with Mitch McConnell out, the numbers are really, really close. We're maybe looking at Senator Bill Cassidy, who again lost his primary to a Trump-backed candidate because he voted for conviction of Donald Trump during the January 6th impeachment. If he votes against it, this could be enough to derail Blanche's nomination.
Dr. Todd Belt, thank you so very much for joining us.
Great to be with you. Thanks for having me on.